has had an abortion or knows somebody close to them who had one to raise their hands. Look around you. Look around you. What a constituency. 1 in 4 American women will have abortions in their lifetime. There are millions and millions of women who have had abortions since Roe. Millions of mothers. And abortion is a mother's act. Mother's act. The act of choosing whether or not to have a child is often an act of love and very often an act of survival. I have been asked recently, where were you when you heard that the decision may come down? Where were you? It was sort of like 9/11. Remember when everybody was asking you, where were you? It was that degree of outrage and shock. My first thought was, how could they? How dare they? Even though I've been through the murder of friends and lived on the front line of the abortion wars for 51 years, had death threats. 51 years! And I'm still here, right? I'm still here. I have been threatened with bombs, continual harassment, evicted 2 times. George Tiller, a dear friend, was shot in the head, but we keep going. But I thought, yes, we keep going. I thought that there were boundaries to their rectitude, their cruelty, and their ambition. How could they be so bold to think that women's lives and women's dreams are there to define and control? How could they reverse a fundamental human and civil right that has been stitched into the fabric of this society? Well, they could, and it looks like they just might, but we will be bolder and bolder and bolder. We are here to state that women must retain the moral, legal, and constitutional right over her decision whether or not and when to become a mother. Yes. Your body is your country and you are the only resident. This is not about love and concern for babies or even what or is or not in the Constitution. This is about power. This is a power struggle. And grafting a Christian fundamentalist ideology onto our most private of decisions. This is about a democratic republic becoming a theocracy. Do you smell it? Do you smell it? I smell the whiffs of an inquisition coming. No exceptions for rape or incest, none for ectopic pregnancies, fetal homicide charges for the woman, life for a doctor. Years ago, I held the hand of the first patient who came to Choices. Her name is Helen, and she was white, married, Catholic, 3 children, but she could not afford to have an abortion. I stayed with her, and her hand and her story is still in my heart. Now, 51 years later, I'm seeing patients who are coming from Texas and Kentucky and other states. And you know, it can't be, and we have to stop it. I also remember where I was when I heard about the Hyde Amendment. And I heard Republican Congressman Henry Hyde say, if we can't save all the babies, we're going to save the babies of the poor. So he cut off Medicaid funding for poor women. Yeah, and it stands today. Do you know that? The Hyde Amendment is voted on every single year. Republican and Democratic presidents let it stand. So we must demand the end of Hyde. Now I want to ask for a moment of silence from all of us to think about all the people and the women who have lost their lives in dark back alleys, who have laid their bodies down because they wanted the right to choose. We owe it to them, and we owe it to our children and our grandchildren not to have this happen to another generation. You know, sometimes I'm asked, and I don't see it here. Is my hanger? My hanger is here. Okay. Sometimes they say to me, Hoffman, why are you always going around with that hanger, you know? It's so depressing. It's so negative. Well, you know, I like to live in reality land. And the hanger is depressing, and it is negative. And the reality is that without access to legal, safe abortion, in the past, women used household objects to deal with trying to get rid of an unwanted pregnancy. And so people say, well, that won't happen again because everybody can come to New York, but they can't all come to New York. And then they say, but they can get pills, but not everybody can take pills. And they're coming after that also. This is why we are here, and this is why we have to continue to fight in the streets. A great rising. Make no mistake, we are entering very dark times. I would say back to the dark ages. So each one of us has to be a focus of light in that darkness. Focus of light! The power of the state must stop at our skin. Your body is your country, your dreams are your own. Protect